Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening and welcome to God's Plan Your Part, a podcast where our goal is to read the entire Bible in a year, seeking to understand God's plan of redemption while discovering daily and practically your part in it.
Hey guys, this is Ryan.
And Jenny.
Today we are looking at, or we're continuing this walk through Job. We're looking at Job chapter 10 through 13. Job kind of works in like cycles, sort of. Mm-hmm. So like the first full cycle is like all the friends talk to Job and Job talks to all the friends. And then there's like another cycle where they chat back and forth again. There's actually 3 cycles. And then this dude Elihu is going to talk at the end. And then eventually...
What's that name?
Elihu? You like that?
Yeah.
Eventually God is going to talk. So I don't know, like Job for me is kind of a downer. Like I just...
Yeah. I feel like we keep reading this and it makes me like actually have like a sadness cloud that follows me around throughout the day, like just remembering and even almost putting myself in his shoes. And
because his shoes are awful.
Yeah.
It is. So we'll see Zophar talk today, and then we'll see Job respond to Zophar. Mm-hmm. You do see them getting like a little bit more rude. Like Zophar says, this is Job 11, chapter 2. Should a multitude of words go unanswered and a man full of talk be judged right?
Yeah, I heard that full of
Should
talk
your
also.
babble silence men, and when you mock, shall no one shame you? So Zophar, this great friend, like Job's probably looking back on those like quiet days being like, man, those were great.
Mm-hmm.
But Zophar's going to continue to make the case. Like you're an evil, wicked man. You're not a wise man. You're a foolish man. And because of that, God is judging you. And Job is like, yo, like, that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
I know God.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that Job does, there's another theme. So there's like these cycles of dialogue. That's a thing in Job. Another clear theme in Job is kind of like courtroom talk.
Yeah.
So Job keeps saying like, give me an audience with the Lord. Let me get to God and talk to God. I would love to listen to him. I hope that he would listen to me. We will sort this out, and we will see that happen, but not for a little bit. What else do you see here?
I would say just the overall theme that we keep talking about every time. Like, yes, it's sad and it's almost like depressing to listen to because I feel like I see Job just like hanging on this little string that God is just holding and dangling. In college, I had a professor who told us like God did not bring you this far just to dangle you here and like watch you suffer. So it all comes back to me to just really consider and think about God's sovereignty in the whole situation, because so much of me wants to think like, oh man, why is he just dangling him and just letting him suffer and go through all this terrible stuff and be surrounded by these people who just don't get it and are like judging him basically on his character or some secret sin. And it just, again, makes me recognize and consider God's sovereignty in Job's life. And he is one heck of a guy that just continues, even though he like calls out and cries out and wants to plead his case, he still recognizes like, nope, God is in control, and I just want to like duke it out with him.
Yeah, the sovereignty of God is definitely a theme in Job.
Mm-hmm.
And it's how the book opens. Like God is like, yeah, I know this guy. What do you like? Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I will give you authority to take away his possessions, to take away his family, to take away his worth.
Mm-hmm.
That's sovereignty. And what's cool about Job is that he is constantly appealing to God's sovereignty. Like, hey, let me talk to you. You'll see in Job 13:3, I would speak to the Almighty, and I desire to argue my case with God. As for you, you whitewash with lies, worthless physicians are you all. These are really great friends. Oh, that you would keep silent and it would keep your wisdom. So basically, Job's like, dude, stop bugging me. Like, I just want God. Because he wants to work this thing out with God because of God's control over the whole situation. So I don't know. Like, Job is not my favorite story.
But what I like about it, though, is that you reminded me of it earlier, that Job is part of wisdom literature.
Yeah.
And it is a reminder to us that like God, and I had kind of mentioned this verse earlier, God does not give you more than what you can handle. And we were like, well, what does it mean to be able to handle situations? What does it mean or like, what is your max out limit? And Job, I think, is a good example of that because he is an example of wisdom to us in those intensely depressing stages of his existence. So I think that was powerful to me because as we grow in our wisdom, it's easier to be able to trust God's sovereignty more.
He refuses to deny God. He refuses to question God. Well, I mean, he's frustrated with God, but he is resigned to the sovereignty of God over and over. So one of the things you were talking about before we started recording was like, there are moments in the day where you are frustrated and like upset.
We have 4 babies, and there are moments, and 4 babies, might I add. One is an infant, one is a very fresh toddler, so very needing individuals. But there are moments in the day where it is complete chaos. And I am just like, okay, God, this is my moment. Like, this is what I can handle right now. And I just have to kind of stop and realize, like, okay, you're putting me in this position for some reason where I just need to, like, completely fall back and trust that you're in charge and you know what's going on. Like, work on the wisdom that needs to be grown in me in this moment because I'm showing all the humanity right now.
And help me. Like, God, help me. So I think that is something that we can be learning from Job. I was really excited to jump into this, like, hey, we're going to read the whole Bible this year. And like,
now it's just really
we're a couple
sad.
days into Job. And I'm like, man, let's get this over with. Let's get back to Genesis.
But you know what? I also think of like some monumental individuals in our lives.
Yeah.
There's a guy in our lives that we really just trust and have learned a lot from. And he has experienced death in his life in a very significant way, but I would say is one of the most solid men that I know of.
Yeah.
And would probably say that, like, yeah, that was a terrible time in my life, but I know that God is sovereign and has a plan and knows how to grow me in this way too.
So your trust in the Lord has a real opportunity to grow when you're dealing with significantly difficult things. And a lot of times we grow the most when we're dealing with significantly difficult things.
Right.
But that's not what we want to do. Like I've grown a lot through hard circumstances. I don't want to do them again.
Right.
So it's interesting. So like as we're looking through God's plan, like we can see here Job's relationship with God, God's relationship with Job. We can see the foolishness of these other friends that are just clueless. Our part in this, I think, is to learn some of the wisdom that we can read from Job, and also just develop an incredible trust in the fact that God is in control, and he has our interest in mind. And so maybe you're dealing with a difficult thing, something as simple as like a small work situation or something as big as like a major family situation. I don't know what your circumstances are, but we encourage you today, like just to trust God's sovereignty, appeal to his sovereignty. It's okay to be like, hey, God, I don't understand this. I need your help.
Yep. In this moment.
Please. Yeah. Like, please respond. And some of that is how our relationship with the Lord is built and how we develop a deeper trust in him. So that's what we got from Job today. We'll be back in Job again tomorrow. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Job 10. I loathe my life. I will give free utterance to my complaint. I will speak in the bitterness of my soul. I will say to God, do not condemn me. Let me know why you contend against me. Does it seem good to you to oppress, to despise the work of your hands and favor the designs of the wicked? Have you eyes of flesh? Do you see as man sees? Are your days as the days of man, or your years as man's years? That you seek out my iniquity and search for my sin, although you know that I am not guilty, and there is none to deliver out of your hand? Your hands fashioned and made me, and now you have destroyed me altogether. Remember that you have made me like clay, and will you return me to the dust? Did you not pour out Did you not pour me out like milk and curdle me like cheese? You clothed me with skin and flesh and knit me together with bones and sinews. You have granted me life and steadfast love, and your care has preserved my spirit. Yet these things you hid in your heart. I know that this was your purpose. If in sin you watch me, and do not acquit me of my iniquity. If I am guilty, woe to me. If I am in the right, I cannot lift up my head, for I am filled with disgrace, and look on my affliction. And were my head lifted up, you would hunt me like a lion, and again work wonders against me. You renew your witnesses against me, and increase your vexation toward me, and bring my fresh troops against me. Why did you bring me out from the womb? Would that I had died before an eye had seen me, and were as though I had not been, carried from the womb to the grave. Are not my days few? Then cease and leave me alone, that I may find a little cheer before I go, and I shall not return to the land of darkness and deep shadow, the land of gloom like thick darkness, like deep shadow without any order, where light is as thick darkness. Then Zophar, the Naamathite, answered and said, Should a multitude of words go unanswered, and a man full of talk be judged right? Should your babble silence men, and when you mock, shall no one shame you? For you say, My doctrine is pure, and I am clean in God's eyes. But oh, that God would speak and open his lips to you, and that he would tell you the secrets of wisdom. For he is manifold in understanding. Know that when God exacts of you less than your guilt deserves. Can you find out the deep things of God? Can you find out the limit of the Almighty? It is higher than heaven. What can you do? Deeper than the Sheol. What can you know? Its measure is longer than the earth and broader than the sea. If he passes through the imprisons and summons the court, who can turn him back? For he knows worthless men. When he sees iniquity, will he not consider it? But a stupid man will get understanding when a wild donkey's colt is born a man. If you prepare your heart, you will stretch out your hands towards him. If iniquity is in your hand, put it far away, and let not injustice dwell in your tents. Surely then you will lift up your face without blemish. You will secure and will not fear. You will forget your misery. You will remember it as waters that have passed away, and your life will be brighter than the noonday. Its darkness will be like the morning, and you will feel secure because there is hope. You will look around and take your rest in security. You will lie down, and none will make you afraid. Many will court your favor, but the eyes of the wicked will fail. All of the escape will be lost to them, and their hope is to breathe their last.
Then Job answered and said, No doubt you are the people, and wisdom will die with you. But I have understanding as well as you. I am not inferior to you. Who does not know such things as these? I am a laughingstock to my friends. I who called to God, and he answered me, a just and blameless man, am a laughingstock. In the thought of one who is at ease there is contempt for misfortune. It is ready for those who slip. The tents of robbers are at peace, and those who provoke God are secure, who bring their God in their hand. But ask the beasts, and they will teach you, the birds of heavens, and they will tell you, or the bushes of the earth, and they will teach you, and the fish of the sea will declare to you. Who among all these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this? In his hand is the life of every living thing, and the breath of all mankind. Does not the ear test words, as the palate tastes food? Wisdom is in the aged, and understanding in the length of days. With God are wisdom and might. He has counsel and understanding. If he tears down, none can rebuild. If he shuts a man in, none can open. If he withholds the waters, they dry up. If he sends them out, they overwhelm the land. With him are strength and sound wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. He leads counselors away stripped, and judges he makes fools. He looses the bonds of kings and binds a waistcloth on their hips. He leads priests away stripped and overthrows the mighty. He deprives of speech those who are trusted and takes away the discernment of the elders. He pours contempt on princes and loosens the belts of the strong. He uncovers the deeps out of darkness and brings deep darkness to light. He makes nations great and he destroys them. He enlarges nations and leads them away. He takes away understanding from the chiefs of the people of the earth and makes them wander in trackless waste. They grope in the dark without light, and he makes them stagger like a drunken man. Behold, my eye has seen all this. My ear has heard it and understood it. What you know, I also know. I am not inferior to you, but I would speak to the Almighty, and I desire to argue my case with God. As for you, you whitewash with lies. Worthless physicians are you all. Oh, that you would keep silent, and it would be your wisdom. Hear now my argument, and listen to the pleadings of my lips. Will you speak falsely for God, and speak deceitfully for him? Will you show partiality towards him? Will you plead the case for God? Will it be well with you when he searches you out? Or can you deceive him as one deceives a man? He will surely rebuke you, if in secret you show partiality. Will not his majesty terrify you, and the dread of him fall upon you? Your maxims are proverbs of ashes. Your defenses are defenses of clay. Let me have silence, and I will speak, and let come on me what may. What should I take my flesh in my teeth, and put my life in my hand? Though he slay me, I will hope in him. Yet I will argue my ways to his face. This will be my salvation, that the godless shall not come before him. Keep listening to my words, and let my declaration be in your ears. Behold, I have prepared my case. I know that I shall be in the right. Who is there who will contend with me? For then I would be silent and die. Only grant me two things. Then I will not hide myself from your face. Withdraw your hand from me, and let not the dread of you terrify me. Then call, and I will answer. Or let me speak, and you reply to me. How many are my iniquities and my sins? Make me know my transgression and my sin. Why do you hide your face and count me as your enemy? Will you frighten a driven leaf or pursue a dry chaff? For you write bitter things against me, and make me inherit the iniquities of my youth. You put my feet in the stocks and watch all my paths. You set a limit for the soles of my feet. Man wastes away like a rotten thing, like a garment that is moth-eaten.
Thanks so much for listening to God's Plan, Your Part. If anything stuck out to you, if you have any questions, or if you'd like to receive a Bible, you can email us at godsplanyourpart@gmail.com. Also, if you're enjoying the podcast, please consider supporting us through the link in our description. We love that you're on this journey with us, and we hope you have a great day. See you tomorrow.